Well, good afternoon. We're back. I haven't changed because I recorded the last class like half an hour ago. So I haven't changed. I just wanted to let Astigarega soak in on the fabulousness of my robe. And so here we are. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm going to be talking about Knight's text. And his chapter, Is It Newsworthy? Which is the chapter that we're going to be discussing in this very short clip. Not a lot to say about this one. Well, actually, a lot to say about this one. But I wanted to start off by pointing out the title of the chapter. Is it newsworthy? Newsworthiness is what guides journalism as a whole. Newsworthiness in Spanish is noticiabilidad. So, for a fact to become an event, understanding event as something that is worth telling about in the media, we need newsworthiness. Actually, Knight is going to be defining the three key features of newsworthiness. But to begin, the lead, the story, and the medium. We've been talking, and this is as introductory classes. This is important. We started talking about headlines and titles, and now we're moving down to the lead. Remember that the title and the headline and the lead are paratexts. So, I'm going to say it in Spanish so that you have the two perspectives. Título y titular y bajada constituyen paratextos. Es decir, estos paratextos no forman parte del cuerpo de la noticia, no forman parte de la sección que constituye la noticia, sino que los vemos como paratextos. Por tanto, no podemos pasar del título o titular a la bajada y de la bajada al cuerpo información o subirla. A veces subir sí para aclarar algún detalle, pero nunca omitir información que pueda ser parte constituyente de uno, otro y otro, porque se repiten, ¿sí? No se repiten porque son partes diferentes, dos paratextos y un texto. Okay, now we switch back into English. Knight defines newsworthiness as the guiding light of journalism. Knight says newsworthiness defines journalism. So then he goes on to talk about the market. It's an interesting point for you to consider on your own. Think about it. And the prime criteria of newsworthiness, following section, and I'm going to read from page 35. Newsworthiness determines which stories make it into a publication, newscast, or website. It further determines which among the survivors ends up on the front page of a newspaper, the cover of a magazine, the top of a newscast, or the home page. Now, newsworthiness guides journalism. I think it was Ted Turner, the owner of CNN at some point, that said that a dog barking in Brooklyn was more important than a revolution in China. This has to do with three key ideas that make up the concept of newsworthiness, and that is whatever is new, interesting, and important. Of course, this is subjective. What is interesting to you may not be interesting for me. Yet, this has to do with what newspapers, that is the editorial policy, consider as important or interesting. And a good exercise for you to think about this is take two papers, two very different papers. It helps in Argentina, for example, for you to think of Clarín and Página 12 and see the information that they publish, front page or whatever, right? And then you will perhaps better understand when we say is it what is interesting for one, what is interesting for the other, what is important for one, what is important for the other, what is new for one, and what is new for the other. And we are not going into the way a certain article is written. We're just saying what is there. And you will see that that is very different. Now, very roughly, the idea of new, interesting, and important may be paired with the ideas of prominence, proximity, and timeliness, right? And you can make parallels between them for you to better understand what is worthy of being published, right? Or what is worthy of becoming a news event, right? El evento periodístico, which is different from a fact. Fact is something that happens, but journalists make that fact, or the media makes that fact an event, a journalistic event, right? And so we're going to see lots of other ideas that contribute to thinking of something as newsworthy, right? And you have the human interest factor, you have newsworthiness for the eye and the ear, visual and sound being very important here. And over the closer to the end of the chapter, pages 46, for example, you will have the idea of creating news, how we create news. Pay close attention on page 49 too, but doesn't matter. That section is important. You will have the AP style here, the Associated Press style here. And this, again, may help you, may guide you into a better understanding of what eventually, why is one news outlet talking about one thing and why is another news outlet talking about something totally different. And these ideas will then come in very handy with the ideas of subjectivity in the media, right? It is all subjective. And if you're interested in exercises about translation, you may go into the headlines on page 51 and work on their translation. Have fun, but then again, think of how we build titles, headlines, and the like, and what constitutes whatever it is that we call the news. Have a good day. Keep reading. Read lots and lots and lots of papers in English, in Spanish. And stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. Have a very good day.